Okay, we have our history books, and you open up the table of contents, and we're gonna look at the, table of contents to see who all we're gonna learn about this year. Last year, we didn't finish the book, so we didn't make it to some of these people. All of you should be sitting up, this is not nap time. Sit up and turn to the table of contents, all right? So the first section is the founding of America. That's when they were beginning America. It really wasn't even called America yet. And let's read who we're going to talk about there. Christopher Columbus, guys, read it with me. John Smith, Pocahontas, Miles Standish, Squanto, William Penn, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, Patrick Henry, George Washington, James Armistead, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Banneker, John Adams, and Dolly Madison. Turn page. Now, eventually when we're going to there, it does become America. Okay, now we're going to talk about the expansion of America. Once it has become America, and they're making it even larger. Read those. Daniel Boone, Peter Cartwright, Meriwether Lewis, and William Clark, Sacagawea, Noah Webster, John Greenleaf Whittier, and Louisa May Alcott, David Crockett and Sam Houston, Harriet Tubman, Abraham Lincoln, Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant, Clara Barton, Dwight L. Moody. All right, then the modernization of America, because we actually get into some more modern things, and you may be surprised at how modern. So let's read. Emily Rowley, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Booker T. Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Billy Sunday, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright, George Washington Carver, Jim Thorpe and Jesse Owens, Jim and Elizabeth Elliott, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Amelia Earhart, Martin Luther King Jr., John Glenn and Neil Armstrong, Ronald Reagan, Daniel Chappie James, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump.
Let's go.
So, usually when you look at a history book, you're thinking about somebody that lived in the past and they're already dead, don't you? But we are even going to be learning, if we get there, to learning about Donald Trump. All the way up to Donald Trump, who is the current president. Yes?
I read the whole entire Laura Ingalls book series.
Nice. All right, turn to the very next page where it says Our American Heritage. Please turn to the very next page. I will read to you now. All right. Have you ever ridden a mule down the steep sides of the Grand Canyon? Is there anybody that did that? Because you can still do that today. I've never done that. I've been to the Grand Canyon twice, but I'm not sure I even want to do that. That sort of sounds like it might be a little nerve-wracking. You've done it?
Nope. I've been to that place, but I haven't.
Okay, but I asked, did you ride a mule down there? How many of you actually been to the Grand Canyon? Raise your hand. All right, but did anybody ever ride the mule to the bottom of it?
What's
All
the
right.
mule?
No.
It's like a
Stop
dog.
blurting out, please. We are video. You need to stop blurting. Would you like to hop aboard a steamship chugging down the Mississippi River? Or ride an airboat through the Everglades? Have you ever run through a golden field of wheat? Perhaps you've dreamed of seeing our nation's capital from the top of the Washington Monument. Maybe your heart beats a little faster when you think about the first airplane lifting off the Kitty Hawk, or the spaceship that soared all the way to the dusty surface of the moon. As you study history, you will begin to understand how God has used people, places, and events to build our American heritage. What is a heritage? A heritage includes the ideas, traditions, and freedoms that were developed and defended before we were even born. Our heritage is a precious gift given to us from those who have lived before us. Who were the people who passed on this valuable gift? They were authors, inventors, leaders, and explorers who believed in the great country called America. Were they superheroes? No. In fact, they were once boys and girls just like you, who learned the importance of hard work and determination. Some found freedom by sailing a new country. brave pioneers blazed trails to the west. Many fought and died on battlefields to protect and defend this great country. History is the written record of what man has done with the time God has given him. Some have called history his story, meaning God's story, because he's the one that set all these things into motion, isn't it, when he created man. God used brave men and women to help build America. Their character caused others to follow their leadership and example. God wants to develop those traits in your life. You see, the story of America does not end with the last page of this book. It continues with boys and girls like you. So as you learn about his story this year, look for ways that you can contribute to the gift that is our American heritage. Hey, I don't know why you're turning the pages while I'm reading. You should have been on the page I'm on. Right? Careful. I know it's close to you, but keep your feet still. Grace, are you on the right page?
Yeah.
Because I see blue and I don't see blue when other people see. So no, I don't think you are. You should be on what says page 1 at the bottom. Guys, whenever I tell you to be on page, I expect you to be on that page and to be following along as I read, okay? Do you guys understand that you need to follow along as I read? Okay. If you look at the bottom of that page, you have a timeline, and I've already started the timeline here. Now, I'm not going to be able to keep it here, but I'm going to have to figure out a wall that we can put this timeline on. So when we start history, we're going to begin with Christopher Columbus. Now, this is the part I was talking about, where it's not even called America yet. All right? There were people that lived over here, but it wasn't called America yet. Okay? They didn't call it America. They had another name for it. It wasn't named that till much, much later. Okay? But Christopher Columbus is the beginning of people finding this land over here again. Okay? So you can see the timeline goes on and on, but we are going to just add to it as we keep going on in history. So I'll put the pieces up as we go along. All right. Go ahead and turn to page 2 now. All right, so we're going to begin the founding of America. Hundreds of years ago, the people of Europe traveled across land to Asia and Africa. Camel caravans from Asia brought riches like pearls, gold, silks, and spices to Europe. The caravans were often robbed of their great treasures. There had to be another way. The people of Europe tried sending ships on the long trip around the continent of Africa to reach India. All right, so here's Europe. Please look up here now. I'm showing you the map. So they would have to travel all the way around Africa to get back over here to India, which is on the continent of Asia. Okay, that's a long trip. Okay, the other way they could do it is to cross on land, and that would be a caravan too. Right? The people of Europe tried sending ships on a long trip around the continent of Africa to reach India, but this trip took many months, and pirates would sometimes steal the ship's treasures. The people of Europe wanted to find a faster and safer way to reach Asia for trade. What else could be done? Were there other ways to sail to India? Most people thought the rest of the world was sea, and none had dared venture into the sea of darkness. No one in Europe knew what or who was beyond the sea. In 1492, one man decided to brave the journey. Christopher Columbus chose a crew and set sail across the unknown ocean. After a long and difficult journey, he came to land. But it was not Asia that it found, it was a new world. Though he did not know this, the people of Europe did not know there were other continents between Europe and Asia. In fact, Columbus died thinking he had found a new sea route to Asia. It was Amerigo. Does that word, Amerigo, sound familiar? What does it sound like?
America.
America. So that is who America is named after. It was Amerigo Vespucci who realized that Columbus had actually found new continents in honor of Amerigo. This new world was called North and South America. There was no longer an unknown sea. Instead, there was a new world to explore. Hear ye, come find adventure, freedom, and wealth beyond your wildest imaginations. All these things lie across on the other side of the sea. Other explorers heard the news and accepted this challenge. Ponce de Leon searched the Fountain of Youth in Florida. Vasco de Balboa was the first European to see the Pacific Ocean. And Francisco de Coronado's men saw the Grand Canyon while searching for gold. Stories of these adventures found their way to the countries of Europe, and people began talking of settling the New World. They began to dream of sailing to America, but sailing to America took more than just dreaming. People had to be willing to leave their homes and all they knew to travel to this new world. That took bravery. Curiosity is what drove men to explore the new world, and bravery is what was needed for men, women, and children to settle this new land and begin a new country. God used these men and women to form a country based on the teachings of the Bible. As we learn about the founding of America, we will see the character and spirit of many brave men and women who united to become one nation under God. All right, next week we will actually start reading more specifically about Christopher Columbus. This was just sort of an introduction. I do want to talk about a few more things before we end. All right, so from outer space to Earth, because one of the other things we're going to be learning, let me explain this, is besides history, we're going to do geography. History and geography. So this is the of the world, right? Alright, so from outer space, the Earth looks like this globe. Alright, the globe is a round ball or a, who knows what?
Sphere.
Sphere, very good. So this is what our Earth looks like from outer space. That's why we know it's round. And there are large bodies of water. Okay, you can see it both on here and you can see it on here. There is more water than there is land. The large bodies of land are called, who knows? Continents. And the large bodies of water are called? Oceans, guys. Seas are smaller, okay? Seas are smaller. So, to make a map, they take the globe, Eric, if you're doing that, Tess, sit up. Pay attention. To make a map, they take a globe and they have to spread it out flat, okay? Now the thing is, it distorts it a little bit, okay? It does distort it a little bit, so it doesn't look like it does on a globe. All right, but let's talk about the continents and let's talk about the oceans. That's all we're going to do. All right, for the oceans, on this side of North and South America is what ocean?
Pacific.
The Pacific Ocean. Between North and South America, Europe and Africa is?
Atlantic.
All right. Between Africa, Australia, and Asia, that's the
Indian.
And then if you get on this side, because it's a globe, between Asia and North and South America, there's also
Pacific.
Pacific Ocean. Because these two sides would come around to meet, right? If it was a globe. All right? So that's why this side says Pacific Ocean and this side says Pacific Ocean. All right? Then at the bottom, we see the Southern Ocean. It's pronounced Southern, even though it's South, that's Southern. And at the top is the Arctic Ocean. It's also in here. Right here, Arctic and Arctic. All right? Southern should be easy to remember because southern, south is down on a map, right? South is down. You hopefully learned that last year. All right, now let's go back and do the continents.
North
North America,